Hey there, Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Moon, Scorpio Rising. Welcome to your reading for November 7th through the 13th. It's a big week. We have Eclipse and we have the 1111 Gateway. I do want to encourage you to watch your speed when you're driving. So I got the song Little Red Corvette. I do see this red Corvette speeding in and out, dodging in and out of traffic. It's almost like though trying to manipulate or to read the signs to figure out how you can get from point A to point B faster. And it doesn't necessarily mean driving. So it could be trying to manipulate the energy, which manipulation just means to manage it, to handle it, right? And so it feels like you could be trying to create, trying to figure out how to move past this to get to there because I'm sick and tired of this, or I feel like I'm running late, I'm running behind. Yeah, oh yeah, you feel like you're running behind. Okay, so you just have this energy of being stagnant and stuck and wanting to just move on. Wow, this is some tough energy I'm seeing here. Okay, Scorpio, let's see what we can do to help you manage through this energy to use it this week. Your overall energy, though, is the Six of Swords. It's wanting to get out of the situation you are in. Okay, I just heard get out of Dodge. So, yeah, it's almost like... I'm sorry about that. I don't know if that's your throat. If it's like you're trying to speak the words, but maybe you're biting your tongue, or if it's because I'm burning incense. It could be either one, although yesterday I burned incense all day and I did not have that. So, what is your truth? How do you complete a cycle? There's so much stress and worry here. So let's look at, you are trying to figure out how to create abundance in your life and nurture this in. And so it could be the abundance emotionally, or it could be abundance in a financial matter. On your mind, though, we have this Queen of Pentacles. It could also be that you are looking for this ability to take something and grow it into something bigger, and maybe that's where you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I have the seed of intention that came through with the eclipse in my sign last week. I wanted to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible, but to be honest, the energy being what it is, that's not really a likely scenario right now, and it's more about releasing and letting go of the self-doubts, the sense of inadequacy. That's why it's a red Corvette. Okay, so it's like wanting to have a status symbol, wanting to actually live the status symbol, right? So it's not about wanting to possess a red Corvette so that everybody goes, whoa, look at how cool he is or she is. They have this really hot, fast car. That's not it. It's that you actually want to embody the hot, fast car. Like you want to be that cool. You don't want to look cool. You want to be cool. You don't want to look successful. You want to be successful. You don't want to look like you got it all together. You actually want to have it all together. So how do I get from here to there? How can I, get ahead? How can I overcome? How can I, it's so funny though, if you watch the people that do that, that weave in and out of traffic, unless you're on an expressway, in which case, it's possible that you could actually get further ahead. The majority of us will find you again at the next traffic light. And there are, in the way the energy moves, there are traffic lights, and we're all at one right now. So as much as you're trying to weave and make your way through, Mars in retrograde, in with Mercury in your sign and Mars in Mercury's sign, we're all at that traffic light. We're not going to get there any faster, and you may get a car length ahead, really, you may, but I kind of think in the long term you don't get there any faster. And so there's more of a thoughtful approach, a more methodical method, a more of a planning necessary, taking the steps one at a time, not trying to leapfrog your way ahead. And at the same time, letting go of the anxiety, the stress around this major disappointment that you have, and instead focus on what you're trying to manifest and create. What is it that you really want? So you have really interesting energy showing up here. They want you to remind yourself that you are going to manifest what you think about. So if you are thinking about creating this healing energy, this I'm moving forward energy, this place that you want to be, that you're trying to get there super fast, instead of worrying about how long it's taking to get there, because when you do that, you create more obstacles, it slows you down. And so instead, it's the matter of focusing on what it is that you're trying to nurture and grow. So in the area of the obstacle to overcome, we have the Five of Cups, and the Five of Cups here doesn't have two cups standing up. They're all tipped over. This is a big, major loss. We are in eclipse season. You just had an eclipse in your sign, even though it was a new moon. Eclipses is always about, what are you going to pay the ferryman to move you across the river? There is a payment that has to be made. And so there has to be a release. There has to be a letting go of something in order to leave the shore on one side, get in the boat, and get to the other side. And you're going to have to go through the emotional waters. And they feel a little turbulent, especially when you have a full moon lunar eclipse happening within 2 weeks of yours. And so now this energy is definitely like amping up, really loud, especially because it's conjunct Uranus. Like, we are going to explode things, break things apart. It is a major release. There's nothing gentle about this eclipse. Yours had some soft spots to it. This one does not. This one is really hard, and it's going to be hard on everyone, but it's definitely going to be hard on you because the Sun and Mercury and Venus in your sign are opposing it. And so the personal planets that want to work on the soul stuff and to do things, in order to do that, there's this big explosion that it feels like when the fireworks go off in the sky and it kind of lights everything up, or the lightning cracks through the sky and you see things. You're going to have glimpses of things. You're going to see things. There's understanding and clarity going to come in. It feels like it's coming in and burst. And so there's a need to actually slow down and pay attention so that you see what you're supposed to be seeing. If you are zipping along, trying to cut corners, trying to get ahead, you're going to miss the information that you could be picking up that would be very beneficial. And so really focusing in on what it is that you want to create. The key to the situation is remembering that you are a creator being, and the choices and the decisions that you make at all phases of your life, but particularly when you're super powered up with this energy of the South Node in your sign, this releasing and letting go, and these eclipses, you're being really supercharged in the transformation. Like, the transformation is happening faster right now for you. It's amped up, it's very speedy, and it's hard because you thought you had things in order, but maybe you don't have them in the order that needed to be, and there's this reordering of things, and there's this exasperation with, but I thought I already had the stuff in order, so why isn't this in order now? Especially anything that you had set into place as your goal, your ideal, about a decade ago, when the North Node was in your sign and you're putting everything in place, but anything that wasn't built on a really strong, solid foundation, it's getting rattled, it's getting shaken up right now. And so parts of it may stand because they may have been built on sturdy ground, but other parts of the complex are coming down. And so where are things standing strong and sturdy for you? And there's a need to observe that and observe the flow of the energy. It's almost as though it's rippling through your life. And if you could see where things are left standing that you can build on, what needs to be rebuilt and what needs to be shorn up and what just needs to be eliminated. And there's a lot more that feels like it's being eliminated than you can shore up or that is still standing. And so there's this big, major reorganizational energy that is happening here. And the difficulty that you've had has been in letting this cycle to complete. Allowing this cycle to complete is going to be the biggest benefit that you give to yourself right now, because in the area of what is draining your energy, it's the actually letting the cycle complete. The World card. Can you allow this major cycle, this ending, to complete so that you can get into the boat, so you can move on to shore, to the calmer waters, to the healing, move into the healing, and leave behind the many, many disappointments of things that you really thought you had working on your behalf. And so here we have this energy of you being stuck in this Eight of Swords, like not feeling well. You know, this isn't the Eight of Swords that you usually see. I really want you to pay attention to this. This one is a small child in bed, and not feeling well in the winter. We're in the northern hemisphere, we're moving into the hibernation months. And so it is cold and flu season. It could be that you actually just don't feel good. But I also think that this is emotionally, I just don't feel good kind of energy. But you're not alone. I want you to notice that the mom is sitting there comforting the child, all dressed in purple like this. This feels like your higher self is saying to you, I know you don't feel well. I know that this doesn't feel good, but you will get better. And so things are being moved out of your way so that you can get better, so that you can get to this healing process, and you're not alone. So you either have somebody significant in your life that is in the physical 3D world that you're kind of able to lean on right now, but for sure there's spirit all around you protecting you. And these swords, it's so funny because they don't, I know they're pointed at them, but it almost feels like the swords of truth that are around you, that are almost protecting your energy so that you can be in this hibernation state, so you can do this healing. It's almost like keeping the thoughts at bay, which is really important because here we have them coming after you in the Eight of Swords. So notice the difference. They're both wearing purple, but when you're calm, they're at bay. When you allow them to attack you, you take off running, and you're running in your heart space. And they're asking you to be calm and allow the healing the time that it needs. Darting in and out of traffic, trying to race to get to the finish line isn't going to get you there in one piece. It does end in a fiery explosion that way. I keep seeing this red Corvette just mangled and tangled and on a ball of fire. And so racing to get there is not productive. Taking the time to do the introspection, to go into hibernation a little bit, to give it a little bit of a break. And how long, you may ask, and I kind of think it really has to do with Mars. So Mars will start moving direct on, I think it's January 12th, 11th or the 12th, but I think it's the 12th, and clears its shadow period like March 20, like right at the equinox. And so I think that the healing, you start to feel better in the middle of January, and you can really see where you're going by the end of March. And so give yourself this time and this space to work through, if it's a physical illness or a loss of a job or an emotional disappointment. There's a lot of emotions tied up in it when we have the Five of Cups all spilled over. And I feel like it could be stuff that has happened in more than one place. It feels like very serious kind of emotional loss when you don't even have any visible hope. However, should you turn around, here you can see that there are more mountains to climb, more opportunities for victory in the distance. They're just not really close. You're going to have to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, turn your back, and move off into the direction of healing. And there is no Eight of Cups here, but I feel the energy of Eight of Cups really strongly. They said to check the bottom of the deck. So I guess I should show you too. Just I really don't want to go there. Because here we have the Seven of Swords. So we have the 6, 7, 8, 9 of swords. It's a lot of anxiety and overthinking. And the one that's the most healing is the 6. So removing some of these swords, letting some things fall away. How do you transform the situation? We have the Knight of Pentacles. This is focusing on that thing that you want. So here you want to be abundant like the Queen, but to get there, you got to start off with the Knight. And there's a lot of potential here. But it is that one thing you can make a difference in, that one thing right now, slow and steady, that will allow you to heal. So let's take, for instance, okay, say you have say, oh gosh, that's so horrible. I don't want to, okay. You know how, when one thing seems to go wrong, everything seems to go wrong, right? So you get sick and you can't work, and so then your job replaces you. Now you've lost your job, and because you don't have a job and you're ill, and then you lose your place where you live. I mean, and then, or you may lose your vehicle or whatever, right? They're just showing me these dominoes falling. Where do you start? Well, you can't start. It doesn't matter where you start. Discerning and deciding where the starting point is, that's up to you. Okay? I think that you would, if it were me, I would start with the health issue, because I can't do the other things if my health isn't good. So I would go back to the beginning. What was the thing that first made the dominoes fall? And I would focus my attention on getting my health in order. And then once your health is in order, then you can focus on getting a job. And then when you get your money in order, then you can start thinking about, okay, can I get a car again? And then if you have a car, or maybe what you want to do is focus on getting a place to live. But you have to get a place to live that's on the bus line because you don't have a car. You know what I'm saying? It's like those life is a series of choices. But picking one thing to focus on, because if you're trying to focus on all of them at once, it's too much and it hurts. And the key is that you're the Empress here. The key is you are super abundant and you can manifest and you can create everything. She's in the dark though, and here's this full moon behind her. She is using her intuition, and Scorpio, your intuition, it's so deep and it's so strong, and your ability to do that is so powerful. And so the only thing that I really see going on in your reading that isn't good is that you are letting your anxiety run the show. Because everything else I'm going to show you here in a second is super powerful and totally in your power and your ability to manifest and create it. It is about focusing on the one thing that you need to focus on, working really hard on that, getting that under control, and then moving on to the next thing, trying to control all the things. It looks like all these little, like in a timepiece, you know how you have all the little cogs and they all spin around and they make the whole thing work? But if you're focusing on what's going on, okay, now they're showing me Lucille Bell. Okay, so it's like Lucy, you've seen that Lucy Ball maybe, that where she's like trying to, they're doing the pies, right? And one pie, oh, I got this, one pie, and then it starts getting faster, and they're trying to do this pie and this pie and this pie, and it's too fast. Where if they would just focus on the pie at the end, do that, pie at the end, do that, pie at the end, do that, pie at the end. But instead they're like trying to get ahead, and it's funny because it's Lucille Ball. It's not funny when it's happening to you. And so here you have the focus on one thing at a time. Allow yourself the space to heal in. Like create a cocoon around you where you, in the calm, meditation is a great way to do this. Or, find a little hobby that you like to do in the evening just to help you wind down that requires all of your attention. you know, maybe something a little artistic, because the act of creating anything allows you to open up the channel of creation, and then you can create something else also. And so maybe a little art project, or a little, I don't know, maybe you decide to retile the bathroom, or something that is just, it's creative, but there's a component to it where it feels kind of repetitious. I know that my husband used to laugh because when I would be really mad, his boss said to him one day, he's like, "Really sorry I made your wife mad." He goes, "Are you kidding? I'm going to go home and have the cleanest house you ever saw." And it was true, because I would go home and I would clean, because it was calming and soothing and repetitious, and I didn't have to think about it, but I was creating order out of chaos. And I feel like if you could create order out of chaos in some part of your life, then you just feel calmer all the way around. And so do that for yourself. You have the Queen of Wands here in your area of resources. So you have this desire to be abundant, and you're being asked to focus on that one thing and to stay calm. And here, be creative with the resources that you have, because you will manifest more from that. If you do that, if you focus on these things, this is all in your thoughts up here. The thoughts are filtering down into the rest of your system here, and they're stressing you out. Instead, turn your thoughts to the creative process of, these are the resources I want, this is the resource I'm going to focus on, and I'm going to be creative with the resources I have in order to manifest that. And if you do that, you create this energy around you that draws and attracts to you what it is you want, because here we have the Page of Wands. This Page of Wands has an open letter. She's read it. She's holding the roses. She's hopefully looking to the future, but if you'll notice, there's a little fountain here, and so this is, her emotions are under control, but they're flowing. She's not blocked. And she's looking to the future because the letter has come in, and the letter says what you're seeking is on its way. And so this is a matter of timing. But first, in order to get there, you got to get out of this, I'm so stressed and I feel all this anxiety, because it's in the feeling section. So it's anxiety. And create a routine that allows you to recuperate mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, if that's what it is. Major disappointments. In this area of this eclipse that we're having, and as a reminder, I will be pulling cards for each sign of the zodiac, special for the eclipse. That video is at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. on Sunday night at 6, the North, on Sunday, November 6th. Wow. But here with this eclipse energy and with the moon in Taurus, you are being asked to focus on transforming your community. So either creating order out of chaos in your space, or reaching out to people in your community that help you to feel calm. Or some of you may be moving, and so that's always a messy process, right? The sorting through and everything. So there is a shift and a change that's happening in your arena of community, but I want you to see the rainbow. You don't get a rainbow without a storm, and you don't have butterflies without some kind of, and butterflies to me are physical transformation. So there's something than your physical life that you can look at that's transforming. And you have the gnomes. It says humanity, friendship, hard work, and little visions. Little visions. And so again, it is community, and it is again focusing on that one thing to transform the situation for yourself. That one thing that you can control right now. That one thing will lead to, look at all of the butterflies. will lead to more transformations and more transformations until you get to where you have the chest full of all the abundance that you are seeking. You can totally manifest this. The key to the situation is knowing that you can. The Empress. And the Empress and that Knight of Pentacles says, focus on one thing at a time. Stay in your lane. Don't be darting in and out of traffic. And do that one thing that's going to make the biggest difference. Identifying what that one thing is might be the thing that you need to talk to somebody about. Maybe that's where the community steps in. That's, that trusted friend, that person that you can talk to and say, look, I have all these things going on. What is the thing that I can do first that you think would make the biggest difference? Because it really depends on what's going on. So maybe you have a multitude of health issues. What is that one thing you can do? Well, maybe that one thing, that one first step might be just, can you cut out processed foods? It could be just that one thing, but you focus on it till you master it, then you move on. Look, it is about single-mindedness. Oh my God, I love it when Spirit does this so much because you got the card of single-mindedness. It's that one thing. Choose your own path and what is best suited for you. Pick that one thing. Start down that direction first. One thing will lead to another. I just got that song coming in. That's so fun. Okay, so Moon in Gemini. Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, you have the Moon in Gemini and you have the Temple of Marys. Emotional expression, playful innocence, and exploitation. Such a manipulative energy this week. Lots of reasons for it, but Mercury in your sign talks a lot about manipulative communication. I do want to warn you not to try to manipulate people through dishonest manners. Manipulation is simply adjusting and adapting, and sometimes it's a very positive thing. But when it talks about manipulating innocence, I want you to not fall prey to other people's manipulations and guard against being manipulative. Because if you are using manipulation that is not of the highest value to lay the foundation for something, then that's the kind of thing that comes down during eclipse seasons. So it's like in Florida where they just had that massive hurricane go through there. When they're rebuilding, they're going to need to rebuild using higher standards, building codes. There were some buildings that did not hardly even seem to get hit. There was a community that had planned for hurricanes when they built the community, and the community survived. They actually literally deliberately placed all of the homes on a higher elevation, and they created the driveways to use as channels down to the road, and they actually had the road continue on an incline to so the water would flow out into an area that they had built for a retention pond for overflow. They planned for that. The homes there did not get drowned. So they're planning and doing that. That's manipulation used for the highest good. So I really want to encourage you to build things on a solid foundation moving forward, being very thoughtful and careful about anything where these Five of Cups has happened. How can you do it? If you do what you always done, you'll get what you always got, right? So how can you do something differently, better, to have a better outcome, because you're totally capable of it? That Moon in Cancer on Saturday and Sunday is going to allow you to really tap into your high level thinking, creative, really tapping into your highest source energy to be very creative. And you have the Unicorn, which is this unexplained wonder. This is the way that you're going to be able to pull down the information you need. Magical blessings and miracles are occurring in your life. All your prayers are being answered. You have the potential to get there. It's about focusing on one thing at a time, focusing with single-minded attention on that one thing, and not allowing all the other stuff to get to you. And there's this community card again. We've got the dolphins swimming in a pod, right? Safe and surrounded by love. You are safe and surrounded by love. And if you look around your life and you're like, I don't see it, then trust me, it's there in spirit. But sometimes the best families we have are the ones that we create through friendships, and community that way. Sometimes our families just, there are soul groups that came here to teach us the hardest lessons. Sometimes it works like that. So it says, keep your heart open and know that you are being protected. Listen to what you know to be true and allow yourself to see and understand what is going on around you. There's a need to be very aware and darting in and out of traffic, speeding along, trying to hopscotch your way toward the front of a line, a pack. Something like that is in the end not the best path forward for you. Slow and steady wins this race. Slow and steady, focusing on one step at a time. And every step you take, it matters and it counts. It's still progress. All right, Scorpio, I'm on Facebook every day. I do a lot more on the astrology over there. I still pull cards, but it's definitely more on the astrology. So I'd love to see you over there if you really want to get into that. Love to see you in the live chat Sunday night, November 6th at 7:30. I'll pull cards specifically for the eclipse for each sign of the zodiac, along with the overall collective reading. So come and join me for that. If you watch that on your phone, hit the live chat tab that's there. You have to look for it says live chat to get into the live chat so that we can talk. I would love to do that. So the video is pre-recorded and the chat is live. That's how that works. So I'd love to see you there. You guys take really good care of yourselves, and I will see you again next week.